Research by its nature is a costly affair in terms of money, time and effort of the various stakeholders. There is therefore an inevitable need for researchers to maximize the dissemination and impact of their research, as well as need for readers to have access to that entire corpus of relevant research literature. Institutions also want to showcase their scholarly output for national development.
Open access is a movement which was started some years in the 2000s. And we had what we call Budapest initiative in 2001, where people were trying to push for access to research output.
It is like a paradigm shift.
Open access emerged as an answer to all these concerns. It is the practice of providing unrestricted access via the internet to peer-reviewed scholarly journal articles and availing their reuse rights. It is derived from the idea that knowledge is a public good and should be shared for the sake of advancing humanity.
We have open access where you can deposit the green and the gold. The one, you can deposit your work in the institutional repository to make it available, or you can publish your work through open access journals. These, unlike the subscription journals, you don't pay. The user does not pay. It is the publisher or it is the author who pays. In other words, in the subscription, the user pays and the publisher, of course, benefits. Both are peer-reviewed. For the open access, the user does not pay. It's only the author who pays, and he pays for the work to be peer-reviewed. And this is the movement which is taking place globally. More and more publishers are trying to move toward this open access, and the direction we want to make it easier for people to access information and knowledge for accelerated growth and for breakthroughs which are happening within the country and within the world.
The prime problem for people in third world countries has been access to research papers, which is a major advantage of open access.
Research usually it's in journals, and most of those journals were subscription, very expensive to access, and most of the countries were not able to purchase those journals. So this initiative was there to make this research output accessible to most of the countries in the world.
Open access is very good for the users, and it could be a way of encouraging the growth of access to research and the growth of scientific research in our universities in Africa.
It's aimed at making research publications or research findings more accessible.
Open access is important in several ways. In an online environment, nearly all publishing costs are fast copy costs. Cost of distribution of research content is negligible. Researchers can share their research as widely as possible. It also eliminates access barriers and is a natural way to achieve wider distribution of research outputs.
When it comes to reinventing the wheel, I mean, even the old culture, the non-access journals, are also accessible. You can't redo a piece of study and publish a paper in such journals, because every paper is reviewed.
Open access also helps in curtailing duplication of research, since researchers can access any other studies done in their specialization.
What you realize in the past is that publishers circulated journals to libraries by way of subscription. So libraries would either pay an yearly subscription, that means they would pay to use for that year. So open access advocates for free sharing of research findings without any cost implication on the side of the user.
The advantages of open access are many. They benefit institutions, funders, authors, libraries, countries, and the society at large.
You cannot be cited unless your work is visible and available. More so, we are pushing for citation. And as I said, you cannot be cited unless your work is visible and available to other users. So make your work available by bringing it to our institutional repository, depositing and publishing with open access journals, that your work can be accessible by the majority of people, not necessarily here, but globally. In the global world, people are looking for collaboration, and they cannot collaborate with you unless they know what you're researching on. So this gives you an open platform where you can share your research, and in the process you can collaborate with other researchers globally.
The United Nations, through our office, is negotiating with institutions of learning for space where we can distribute publications from different agencies of the United Nations, where students can access information through hard copy, and if they need to get it on our websites from our database, which is electronic, we'll be able to do that. So we are trying to open United Nations corners in all institutions of learning, including Kenyatta University.
Wider visibility for researchers and usage of their research findings, larger and more diverse audience, increased citation rates, provision of an avenue to connect with a global society, easy feedback avenue, and opportunities for collaborations. Open Access also provides free articles for teaching and learning, and enhanced and accelerated research cycle. Other advantages include readers globally get a barrier-free access to the latest literature. Open Access also benefits a society from an expanded and accelerated research cycle in which research can advance more effectively, as researchers have immediate access to all the findings they need. Solutions emanating from research data and innovations permeate society easily as they have access to this knowledge. Funding agencies get increased returns on their investment in research, making results of funded research more widely available, discoverable, and usable. Citizens gain access to the research for which they pay taxes. This research also translates into new medicine, useful technology, solved problems, and informed decisions that benefit everyone. Libraries are aided in solving pricing and permissions crisis for scholarly journals. Also increased access for target audience. Financially, Open Access creates a more attractive model than the current subscription model. Teachers and students also get unrestricted access to material and enriched education, allowing equality of learning in poor as well as in rich nations. Universities and research institutions get greater visibility and clearer management information. Publishers have a more transparent business model, ultimate online article distribution, and ultimate visibility for articles. Lastly, authors' articles are widely accessible via aggregators, indexing services, and search engines, which promotes public understanding of scientific and medical research and allow literature and data to be mined.
As a university, we should encourage publication open access journals, but the authors now need to be helped financially, to publish in open access journal, because it costs quite a bit of money, and we need to be aware of the. We need to make sure that the quality of the journals is really of a very high quality.
I am excited in that your institution is providing access to information where researchers and students can collect, gather information that can contribute immensely to their research and give them information that is closest to reality than any other source they can get anywhere in the world.
What about self-archiving?
When you talk about self-archiving, it's the research, your research output. You can make it available and accessible through these platforms which you are calling the institution repository. Okay, and as I said, Kenyatta University has established that platform. We have an institution repository where you can deposit your work. Now, you archive your work. Maybe you have published your paper, And before you give to the publishers, you can give us the preprint, or the postprint becomes very difficult, but before it is peer reviewed, before it's printed by the publisher, you give us your works that you're able to put in our institutional repository. After your work has been published, we use a platform to tell us whether your publisher can allow us to archive your work in our institutional repository. If they allow, you can give us permission to archive your work in our institutional repository. Remember, you publish, it goes to subscription journals. Very few people are able to access that because people have to pay for that journal. But in our institutional repository, it is freely available, globally available. So many people will be able to access your work. So this is the idea of you publish your work, but still tell us where the work, your research output, so that we are able to pick it. Where we are allowed, we put in our institutional repository. The other papers which our researchers are producing, which are not published, we are telling them we can also publish them in our institutional repository because they will be indexed by Google Scholar and other indexing platforms.
There is also local support for open access through formulation of open access policy, which documents the foundation of establishment, management, self-archiving, quality, and embargo issues. Establishment of institutional repository which allows authors to self-archive their research output. The trend globally is for research institutions to establish open access initiatives to fast-track scholarly communication to the public without barriers. Kenyatta University, like many other universities locally and internationally, is a leader in this regard.
It is in the university's desire and commitment to continue supporting and promoting the open access initiative to allow unrestricted access to scholarly research literature and its use in the digital environment for the good of humanity.
Kenyatta University, we are looking beyond what is normal so that we put our students on an advantage. So you can only do this if you look outside the box and look for opportunities that can enhance your visibility and give your students an edge in terms of the way you do new things. So as a university, we have a number of strategies and initiatives that promote this innovation. For example, if I mention a few, we have the Innovation Center, where we give students an opportunity to explore and play around with their ideas, and we then support them so that they can be creative, so that what they learn in class can find use somewhere else, and also help them get what they cannot get in classroom.
As a university, we should encourage publication open access journals, but the authors now need to be helped financially, to publish in open access journal because it costs quite a bit of money. We need to make sure that the quality of the journals is really of a very high quality.
Open access has its own challenges. Okay, first of all, it's the attitude, because people need to change their attitude towards open access. They believe that when you publish with subscription basis, when they are peer reviewed, that's when you get tenure. It should be removed. What we are saying, you can also publish with open access journals because they are also peer reviewed. There is a fear, of course, of predatory journals. Okay, these predatory journals, they have made it very difficult for people to move towards the open access journals because they are just making money out of people, and people are fearing that. The other one is fear of the researchers. Are they going to be recognized when they publish with the open access journals? And this we are trying to talk to universities and management. For example, in Kenyatta University, it is recognized when you put your work in the institutional repository. And by the way, when you deposit with an institutional repository, Google Scholar is able to index your work and your citation and make it available so that people are able to cite your work. Remember, nowadays we don't look at the number of papers you're producing. It's how many people are citing your work, how many people are using your research output to generate knowledge, and this can be gauged by the citation which you get. So these institutional repository open access journals are helping our researchers' work to be visible, and if it is visible, then they are able to be cited.
The major concern is the quality now. And I think it's very important that open access journals should be high quality journals. And I think we should encourage our scientists here to publish in open access journal. The problem is, of course, the cost now. Although it's open, it's accessible to the users, but to the authors now, they find they have to pay a lot of fees to publish in open access journal.
Open Access offers very high visibility by ensuring scholarly content is accessible from multiple sites, indexed extensively, and no dissemination barriers. It does not compromise quality since acceptance rates are based primarily on the quality of the submissions.
As we celebrate the week, we line a number of activities that help the community understand about the movement. We have seminars, we have talks, we have exhibition and presentations. All this is meant to create awareness about this movement and make people aware of what it can achieve in terms of giving people opportunities where they don't have to have money to access these journals to do what they're supposed to do.
This October is the Open Access Month globally. What we are saying, we don't want to discuss about open access. We want to have actions. What steps are we taking to make our research output available, accessible to the majority of the people who do not know its existence? As I said, Kenyatta University is trying to advocate for openness to the lecturers, okay, so that they publish with our institutional repository. We are going to talk to them and take them through our workshop on self-archiving so that at least they know they can archive their work, not necessarily with our institutional repository, but with other open access journals so that they can make this information available.
Welcome to Open Access.
This Open Access infomercial is produced by Kenyatta University Postmodern Library in partnership with KUTV and International Network for the Availability of Scientific Publications.